guys, welcome to today's video or live. I did a live earlier, but now I'm doing a live. I'm showered. My hair was a mess. The reason why I didn't shower right away, we had to fix something in my shower and we had to get it fixed, and now it's fixed and I'm okay. So I'm gonna do some deodorant. And I got this outfit about 2 years ago on Amazon, and I'll show you. It's a pajama set, but yeah. We're gonna talk about things that irk me as a person who has scoliosis that other people do, and we're also gonna talk about scoliosis today. So I told y'all eventually I would do a live about it, or I would do some kind of video, because I do get a lot of questions regarding it, and I wanted to be open and honest and transparent. And I am using the Native plastic-free deodorant, and it is eucalyptus and mint. So I am going to say this very nicely. And I'm going to start. My first pet peeve is people always assume that people in wheelchairs are dumb or they need you to over-explain. I will tell a situation that actually happened to me a couple years ago, and I will go over it and I will talk about everything. Hi, how are you? So with scoliosis, what scoliosis is, and I'm just gonna explain from my point of view so that people, because I get this question a lot, ask, and I want to be open and transparent with it. People have always asked, would I ever date anybody that has a disability? And I have no problem with people with disabilities. I've actually dated somebody who was deaf. But dating somebody with a disability, I know this is going to sound harsh, but I feel that if I dated somebody with a disability, I don't think I could do it. I love people. I love everybody, and God made people the way they are for a reason. But I would never date somebody with a disability, because I have scoliosis myself, and I want to date somebody who is normal and able-bodied. I understand that there are people that do relationships with people with disabilities, and they're both disabled, but I don't think that would work out in the long run. Hi, welcome. So I'm gonna use JLo Glow. Fun fact, I wore this in high school. But the next question I get, or the next thing that I really, really hate, is people always assume that people with disabilities can never have a functioning relationship. They can never have intimacy, and that is far from the truth. I have scoliosis. It affects my spine. I've always had it since birth. That does not make me, I can still have kids. It may be a high-risk pregnancy, but hey, hi, hello. But that does not mean I can't live a successful life. Now, the question I get, why, if you are disabled, why are you not on SSI or any kind of government assistance? Now, This is what I always get 9 times out of 10, and this is what I run into 9 times out of 10. Not everybody who has a disability will qualify for SSI, or because it depends on how disabled you are. And if you can do a lot for yourself, there's no need, because I can work. Yes, I have IBS. Yes, I have other things that are there, like asthma, but I can work a full-time job, and I do. And lately, the weather's been interfering with my work, but I'm still at work. Sorry about that. If my boss is watching. But people with disabilities don't always assume, and I'm going to take my purity ring off because I don't want to wear that right now. Don't always assume that people with disabilities are dumb, because we can go to college, we can do things. And the thing I hated when I went to mainstream college, because you are in a wheelchair or because you use a cane or crutches, they assume you need to be in these special classes. Well, I'm pretty high functioning. I am in AP classes, and so the other thing I don't like is when people assume that I have like a nurse or a caregiver. No, I do not. I don't have a nurse or a caregiver. I am pretty high functioning, and I don't need that. People assume that I have a legal guardian or I'm in a guardianship. I have actually been asked this, and no, I am not. I am in control of my own finances. The next question I get, why do you hate Medicaid and SSI so much? I don't hate it, I just don't agree with the premise. If I can work, why be on those things? I do not feel like a disability is the only thing, and I hope that's not what all that people see of me. I hope they see I'm a good, strong person, and I hope that they see the real me. So look past everything and just see me. Yes, I've had to do things a little differently. Yes, there are things that are sometimes out of my control, and I have to go with the punches more than most. But that does not don't assume that I can't do things, because I do a lot of things on my own. I even do my own laundry. I can dress myself, so I already got a shower. So I got a shower and I'm here. Don't assume that people in wheelchairs always need help. Yes, it's nice when you offer, and we thank you for that, but always make sure that the situation is, hi, there where help is needed. And the next question I get, how will you explain to your partner what your condition is? And this is a question I get a lot. When I do start dating, I will just be open and honest, and I will just let them know. Have you ever gone on a date and somebody felt uncomfortable about your scoliosis? Yes. There have been a lot of people in my past, and at that point in time, I was a little bit uncomfortable myself with my scoliosis. So it kind of made them not as comfortable with the situation. So the next question I get, does it bother you when people ask questions about your condition? At first it did, but then I realized, people are curious, not everybody understands, and not everybody's going to know what scoliosis is. And my scoliosis affects my lower spine, and it's kind of crooked. It's, how people's spine is a perfect S, mine's a crooked S. That's the best way I can describe it. And yes, I can walk and do normal things. The next question I get, how will you navigate telling your children about your disability when you do have them? I will set them down and I will talk to them about it. And if they are younger, I will tell them about it when that time comes. How do you navigate when you are in the workplace with a disability? I don't have any accommodations at work. I just do everything that everybody else does because I think accommodations are weak. If I'm there to do a job, I'm going to do it with no accommodations. Hi, Allie. How do you navigate being in public, and how do you navigate when people come up to you and ask about your disability? Well, at first I used to avoid it all the time and tell them it was not their business, but now I just I have scoliosis, and everybody just goes on. But yes, for a while I was ashamed of having scoliosis, but now I'm not. I take it as a gift. What is the most embarrassing thing that has happened with you having scoliosis? My wheelchair broke in the middle of Walmart, and 2 Walmart employees had to fix the front wheel because it fell off. So I had bought a kit from Walmart and I had paid for it, and they put the wheel back on for me, but it was so embarrassing. Don't you think you should use your platforms to talk about your disability? You would reach more people. I will talk about my disability, but it is kind of also personal, so I do want to make sure that I do it in a tasteful way. What is the one thing you would want to change about yourself? I would like to be more confident. I like to be more confident in my way I present myself. And I know I need to work on that. How will you navigate everyday life when you do get married or, are dating? Same as I do now. Nothing will really change just because I'm in a relationship. I'm still the same me. And you should never let anybody make you feel bad for who you are, and you should just love yourself for who you are. And for years, I have worked on that, and I have tried to make myself better. It is a day-to-day thing, and I have to go with it with a grain of salt. And I have to understand that I am human, and I have to give myself grace, and I have to be the best version of myself and just move on with my life. How do you interact when you are working with kids? I don't use any special accommodations when I'm doing that. And a lot of the kids that I deal with can talk and walk, and but when I do deal with the babies, I have special ways that I do it. When I was working as a nanny, and yes, every family I know that hired me knew I had scoliosis, and they were cool with it. And if anybody out there has any kind of disability, and someone tells you you're not good enough or you're not, just know that God made you that way for a reason, and your reason may be to educate others about your condition or every things you're going through, because people are curious. They may not always understand, and that's why sometimes people come off the way they do. But don't ever let anybody get you down, and don't ever let anybody make you feel bad for being yourself, because you're the authentic self. And it is something I've even had to work with myself as a human being every day. I have had to tell myself that I am enough, and that even though I may have challenges, or I never limit myself, because limiting yourself, you'll miss out on opportunities. Believe me, I've done it, but I've come out the other side, and good or bad, I have had to learn some crazy stuff about myself. But if you're out there and you're struggling, and I've been where you are. I have hit rock bottom. I have always wondered why God made me this way, but one day I woke up and I realized that God had a purpose for my life, whether good, bad, or ugly, that was to help other people. And sometimes it's not an easy task getting up in the morning. There are days where I don't feel 100. I get it. But I wish everybody nothing but the best.